Hello everyone, welcome back to the reading of The Puzzle, A Gift from Spirit with Kelly Allen. Today I'll be reading two more chapters. The first chapter I'll be reading is A Letter from Me to Me, and the second will be Please Don't Fill in the Blanks. And as always, I'll be starting out with a couple of quotes. So, here we go. Here is a test to find out whether your mission on earth is finished. If you're alive, it isn't. Richard Bach, Illusions. We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. George Bernard Shaw. A letter from me to me. When working as a career advisor for a college, I worked with many individuals who had decided to return to college for various reasons, but without a clear vision of the direction they wanted to go in. In many cases, these individuals were recent ex-military, displaced workers, individuals recovering from injuries, and the list goes on and on. Frequently, students preparing to enter the workplace in a new field would ask me, "Where do you recommend I look for employment, and what type of work pays the best?" The problem I have with these types of questions is that these individuals were ready to allow me to make the decisions for them, or at least heavily influence it, based on my recommendations for them and the financial rewards they believed that they could or would be able to have provided to them. I would often pose the following question to these students or graduates, asking them this: if in your childhood you could send yourself a note to find in your early adult life, knowing what you now know, what would you say to yourself? This one question not only inspires great introspection, it also provides incredible insights as to the passion that this individual chose not to nurture. It helps to clarify the possible dreams unrealized as they sought out to obtain the, quote, status in life that they believed they were intended to achieve to satisfy the burden of expectation from their parents, their friends, or the local or larger society. What motivated them before they were, quote, taught not to dream, before they lost touch with their divine inspiration, with spirit? What visions of life did they abandon when the habit of fear was introduced and gradually allowed to consume them? Ultimately, I was usually able to help the individual find for him or herself what it is that they should pursue to discover and reignite the once forgotten passion that can empower them to dream and achieve success based on their own self-understanding, based on their vision, their goals, and based on their objectives. It would remind them that it's their life. When they find the calling that resonates with their spirit, the universe will conspire to align all that is needed to succeed. The same is true for you. I encourage each of you to sit down and begin composing a letter. Yes, literally. Ask yourself this question: if in your childhood you could send yourself a note to find in early adult life, knowing what you know now, what would you say to yourself? Seriously consider your life and the decisions you've made. What would you change? What would you keep the same? Was there a passion or a dream that you didn't pursue? What is it? Were there situations where fear prevented you from taking a leap of faith? I'm not suggesting you look back on your life in regret, and I discuss the pitfalls of this in a future chapter. What's done is done, and the past is the past. But what I'm suggesting that you do is analyze the decisions you made and let this inspire you to rekindle the passion and awaken the dream. When we look back on our lives, we usually find that the, quote, worst case scenarios of our fears rarely, if ever, materialized. Reflecting on our life also reminds us of just how quickly our life passes. Hey, like the old saying, life's short, play hard. I'd also encourage you, in reflecting back on your life, to take a look at any and all achievements you've made in your life. Remember them and mentally relive the excitement you felt as you achieved each success. Were there situations you felt you handled really well? A presentation you made that was well received? a diploma, certificate, or degree, a work of art, a project you successfully completed, etc. Reminding yourself of the successes helps you to discover several things. It helps you to relive the joy associated with the accomplishment, and it reminds you to consider your capabilities, and it strengthens your confidence moving forward. Your letter may well turn out to be primarily a letter of encouragement. I'm sure you'll find that the letter will be woven with the love of a young friend, you. And now a couple more quotes before I continue on with the next chapter. You must look into other people as well as at them. Lord Chesterfield. Judgments prevent us from seeing the good that lies beyond appearances. Dr. Wayne Dyer. Please don't fill in the blanks, learning not to project. In a previous chapter, Seeing the Child in Others, I discussed how seeing individuals as children can help us to avoid insecurities in ourselves based on the judgments we think that others are placing on us. I'll address this concept further here. A common practice that many of us partake in is to fill in what we don't know about others based on our own backgrounds and experiences. I like to call this filling in the blanks. What we don't often realize is that in doing so, we're actually passing judgment on others. More often than not, this judgment is an error. At times, this can be a matter of simply generalizing or discriminating based on this generalization. Other times, it's a matter of having a small piece or parts of information and formulating a whole picture based on the portions of the information that we do have. When we allow ourselves to do this, we may be preventing ourselves from enjoying a friendship or acquaintance that could dramatically improve and mutually benefit both parties involved, and thereby rob us of incredible blessings. It's difficult not to project our feelings, our perspectives, and again, our past experiences onto others. It's also easy to project our insecurities onto others as well. Just because you are struggling with confidence in a task that you're attempting in your work or personal life, don't assume that others are also lacking confidence in your abilities as well. Oftentimes, the very people who are sent our way to help us and to remind us of our past achievements or encourage us to continue towards success are the very people we may be projecting our insecurities onto with a defensive "don't tell me what to do or how to do it" attitude. Once again, we've robbed ourselves of a blessing. Worse than that, we've robbed the other individual the blessing of extending themselves to us in a supportive, helpful, and loving way. Because I have owned and operated several businesses, and I try to maintain a worry-free and positive demeanor, people often misjudge me to be someone who has not had to face difficulty and extreme challenges in my life. If they only knew how untrue this really is. People who don't know my history also project often onto me the concept that I am a person who has never had to work very hard, or, quote, get down and dirty with hard physical labor. Again, so very far from the truth. People who get to know me well enough to learn about my work history are often surprised to find that I come from a very humble upbringing and have had to work extremely hard, both physically and mentally, to achieve the accomplishments I've enjoyed. I don't share this to say that anyone who has not had to face hardships that I've had to doesn't deserve success, but just to provide an example of how people oftentimes misjudge one another. Believe me, everyone faces their challenges, even those who appear to have been born with, quote, a silver spoon in their mouths. Often life experiences, no matter what they may be, include contrast, pressures, and lessons. But there are opportunities to learn, to develop, and to grow. By living the practice of seeing the child in others, like I've mentioned previously, and not projecting and filling in the blanks in others' lives, you allow them to see you in the same way. The door of opportunities swings wide open for Spirit to work in and through you, and this allows you to remain connected to Spirit, to fulfill your mission to serve, to evolve, and to experience joy. From the moment our physical life begins in this world, we are on the path of discovery, learning, and evolving through experience. The less time we spend in judgment of others, and the more time we spend extending ourselves in service to others, the more quickly we become attuned to our purpose, and the faster we enjoy self-discovery, learning, and growth. This prepares us and promotes us on our path of remembering our way back to God.